All right, guys, here's the deal. So I had planned on doing this video on a different topic, and then as usually happens, it turned into something else. So instead of being about why you shouldn't push your emotions down, why you should feel your emotions, this video is about what you can learn by listening to your emotions. So, similar videos, but I was surprised at what I learned. So when I was thinking, I'm going to do a video on why you should that you should listen to your emotions and pay attention to them instead of just shoving them down or numbing or whatever we do, And I had the thought, how well do you listen to your emotions? When you know something you should be doing and then life happens and all this stuff, and then you're like, oh yeah, I'm not doing as well at that as I should be, as I know to do. So I spent a week paying attention to my feelings, paying attention to how well I pay attention to them. And I learned that I am paying better attention to them than I used to, a lot better, which is good. Like trying to go, okay, this is what I'm feeling and naming it, and this is why. But anyway, like I said, I was surprised at the things that I learned about myself by listening to my feelings. So this video is some things, so I don't have a number for you, some things that I learned by listening to my emotions. So I wrote a list because that's how I roll. So one of the things I learned about myself, and like I said, things, and then you have this like, oh yes, this a newfound realization about it, or like another witness, like a 10th witness of that is true. So these two things go together, very similar. Two things that I learned from paying attention to my emotions is that I am very uncomfortable with other people's emotions. Like if you're happy, great, I'm okay with that. If you're sad or anxious or upset, I have a hard time with that. Not in every situation, but I've noticed that I am uncomfortable with other people's feelings because what I learned, one of my beliefs, is that emotions are bad. We shouldn't be feeling emotions unless they're happy emotions. And that is probably my fault, that I am responsible for other people's emotions, which is not the case, right? I'm responsible for my emotions. I'm not responsible for someone else's emotions. If I'm being a huge jerk to someone, okay, I need to do some repair. I need to not be doing that. But if I'm doing the best I can and I have nothing to do with this other person's feelings, so I have a coworker that she seemed down all week, and I'm like, did I do something? No, I did not do something. But that really worried me. And my other thought was that if I recognize that she is having a hard time and I don't do something to try to help her feel better, because one, she should be happy. She shouldn't be feeling that way. Two, it could be my fault. It was not my fault. If I recognize that she's having a hard time and I don't do something to try to help her, what kind of person does that make me? Who am I even? What am I even doing here? Right? Like I should help her, or I'm not being a good person or a good friend, right? I don't have to. That's her responsibility. I can help her. I can be there and listen, but she's responsible for her own feelings, right? And to me, even to say that sounds so callous, but she is. She is. I'm responsible for mine. She's responsible for hers. Anyway, so moving on. Other things I learned. How I feel about myself. Oh my goodness. Like if I did something and I was like, oh, Britt, you're being so cringe right now. Even though I'm not, But if you pay attention to your emotions and what's going on, it can tell you how you feel about yourself. Another thing that I learned and realized was that my emotions will tell me what brings me joy. If you're searching for more joy in your life and doing those things, pay attention to that. And sometimes we like, oh, I enjoy that, and we excuse it away. I love to dance. There's very few opportunities to dance out here where I live. And there's like this many opportunities to do the kind of dance that I like to do out here, right? So for the longest time, I've just been like, I can't dance out here. So that is a big part of myself that I've just not been expressing. And I had, while I was spending this time paying attention to my emotions, I went, oh, I love music. I love this kind of music, and I love to dance. Now, I should follow that and see what I can do with that. Because just because I live out here in a small town doesn't mean I can't ever dance. I can make opportunities to do that, right? Of course, it's not going to look the same as it did before when I was young and single and living in the city, but I can still do something that I enjoy, right? Another thing was what my motivations for things are. I realized when I started paying attention to my feelings, not this time, but before, I've been, focusing on paying attention to my feelings, that I experience a lot of anxiety, and you don't realize it. It's like a fish in water, and then you're like, oh, I'm surrounded by anxiety. This is not cool. So paying attention to why am I feeling that anxiety? And this is what I learned, because there was a decision that I needed to make, and it didn't just involve me, it involved my family and involved other people. And in the past, when I made the decision that I want to about this thing, it was not received well. The way that someone reacted, I was really hurt by. I was really upset about, and so I spent a lot of anxiety about making this decision again. And I would waffle back and forth between I don't want to do this and I do want to do this. And I was driving home one day, and I just had this clarity of I don't want to do this, and so that was nice. I paid attention to that. But what I have learned from the anxiety is my motives for things and why I'm feeling the anxiety. So FOMO, fear of missing out on things, fear of not belonging. Like, oh, you didn't go to this one thing, you don't belong and you don't fit in. They'll forget about you. So making myself go to things that I don't really want to go to because of that, when that's not the truth. And if they do forget about me because of one thing, then probably not by people, and that I want to be liked and accepted. So I want to do things that people want me to do. And if I find myself not doing those things, then it just gives me the anxiety, right? I was on a coaching call with my coach this week, and she was talking about that the reason why we're not doing things is because we don't feel safe. And I have been paying attention to this week and going, oh, I feel anxiety here because I don't feel safe, because if I don't make this decision perfectly, this is going to happen and I won't be safe. So that has been really eye-opening and really helpful. And so when you can be like, oh, this is my motive, this is why I'm feeling this way, then you can work through that thing. I'm not going to not belong to this group anymore because I decided to not do this one thing. I'm not going to be a social pariah because I made this wrong decision. Another thing that you can learn about is your cycles. So with your monthly cycle, the way that your hormones fluctuate can cause you to have different emotions. feel certain emotions more or less than you normally would. And so as you pay attention to those emotions, you can go, oh, and if you track your cycle along with that, it helps you go, oh, this is the way I'm feeling this way. It's not because that person said that thing, it's because I feel this way. They said that thing and it triggered this inside of me. It hit a button. So that I've learned that is super helpful. You can also learn what you don't want. So as with things where I felt joy and I'm like, oh yeah, we should do more of this. You can also feel things where you're like, no, I do not want that anymore. And with the joy thing, I do this a lot more, I think, with the things that I don't enjoy, the things where I'm like, oh yes, I don't like that. I excuse that away as, oh, if I were just a better person, if I was this way, if I was that way, if I did that, if I was more whatever, then this wouldn't be a problem. No, listen to those feelings. Listen to those emotions. Your emotions are a signal for you. It's not an emotion that's saying, oh, you're a bad person. It's an emotion that's saying, it's like when you put your hand, okay, real life example. I was pulling my sourdough out of the oven and I touched the side of the Dutch oven. Oh, and it still hurts. I just literally did it. It hurts still. So that was a sign to me of, hey, maybe you should not touch the side of the Dutch oven. But in my mind, it wasn't like, oh, Brittany, you're so stupid. Why did you do that? Or if you were a stronger person, you could just hold your hand there on the Dutch oven and it would be fine, right? No, it was, yeah, I've done this before. I need to be more careful. I know I need to be more careful. It's just a sign of, hey, this is fragile skin. And that is a really, really hot Dutch oven. So let's be a little more careful next time pulling our sourdough out of there, right? And it's just funny that with our emotions, we're like, just no, it's fine. I just need to be a better person so that I can handle this better, right? No, that's not the case. So when you have those emotions of, oh, I don't like that, that is a sign and you should listen to it. And this would go along with the video I was going to do about just shoving your emotions down. Do not do that. That is going to cause problems. Go like, okay, I don't like that. Let's have less of this. Let's set a boundary. Let's whatever. And if it could be, I'm at this part in my cycle of the month and this is how I feel. And if I go spend time with that person or I do this or I'm in the situation, I know how that's going to make me feel because I've been paying attention. And so maybe I will go see that person in a week or so and I'm feeling better about life and myself and people. So the overarching thing here that I learned by paying attention to my emotions is getting to know myself better and getting to know my stories better. And your stories, another word for that is beliefs, limiting beliefs that you have about yourself, about other people. So limiting beliefs that you have. And as I paid attention to my feelings, I realized that those feelings were telling me what my stories were too. And we want to discover those feelings and we want to discover those stories and change them to better stories, right? So if you ignore this is bringing in the why you should not ignore your emotions. If you ignore this, you can get super burnt out, right? You could start to not trust yourself and put your trust in other people more than yourself. And so having to ask other people, well, what do you think I should do? What do you think is best here? Instead of listening to yourself. Another effect of not paying attention to your emotions and acting on what you're learning from them is pain in your body. Those emotions, if you're like just ignoring them and pushing them down, numbing them out, they will go into places in your body and be there and cause you pain, cause you issues because that emotion had a message for you. It's like in Harry Potter. If you've seen Harry Potter, this just came to me, guys, where they're trying to deliver the message by owls to Harry Potter and he keeps not getting it. And so they keep sending more and more and more letters to Harry Potter so that he gets it. That's the same way. You're not going to have a fireplace full of letters, but you will have areas in your body that are like, hey, listen to me. You didn't listen to us before. Maybe you'll listen now, But then if you're not listening to your body, then you're ignoring it. You're shoving that down more and it causes more issues. So, and honestly, you'll get so burnt out. You will wonder why you don't feel joy, why you just feel worn out all the time. And it's because you're not listening to those signals from your emotions that are telling you, do more of this you enjoy, do less of this, you need a break, this is not good for you, all of those things. So I would encourage you to spend a week or more paying attention to your emotions. And when they come up, instead of being like, oh no, I can't feel those, go, okay, what is this emotion? Name it. Because, if you just spend time with your emotion, if you pay attention to it, name it and feel it, it will pass so much more quickly than if you just shove it down because it keeps coming up. But it's like the letter in Harry Potter, you read it. Okay, I've read it. We're done, Well, and then you act on what it said. So, okay, I felt my emotion. I read the message it had for me. Now you can act on that. So pay attention to your emotions. Write down what you learn if you need to. I think that's a great idea to write down what you learn. And then ask yourself, okay, what is this telling me? What can I do to act on this message that I'm receiving here? So I would love to hear what you learn and how that goes. So comments in the bottom, please, and tell me how this goes for you. If you have any questions, please also in the comments, ask me if you heard something here that was helpful to you, or you thought of someone like, oh, this really helped that person. Please share with them because you will help me to get my message out to more people than I can on my own. So we'll see you in the next video.